Delaney, I've known for a number of years. We've done a lot of energy work and facilitation together over the last number of years. And Delaney has this amazing ability with energy, but also she's a singer. She's done some really amazing things in her life. And she also works with telepathy, funny enough, not something that's like normally out there. And so she's got these like very different capacities with healing bodies and all sorts of other things that she's done in her work. But Delaney is one of the kindest, like powerhouses that I know. And once she like is like a yes to something, it's like everything in her world will rearrange to have that outcome show up. So I'd love to introduce the magical Delaney Delaney.
Yeah. Thank you for such a beautiful introduction. I'm a little bit, I have some autistic levels as well. So I'm pretty excited. So bear with me if I jump around all over the place. Because as Corey said, when I find something that really works, I go all out. And I have only been using the limbic arc for, I think it's 19 days, and my partner as well, Richard. And the change in my life is dynamic. Like Corey was saying, I come from a background of working in the field of quantum energy, and I've been lucky enough to live with a lot of miracles in all the work I've done, like even in performance and the creative work that I did. I worked a lot with people in marginalized groups, like people with disabilities, young people who are in that category of risk, as well as in the corporate world. And I have seen people, you know, expand their abilities through working with energy. And so I know the power of it. I really want to just go straight to what is blowing me away with this technology, because I have personally experienced many miracles. About 5 years ago, I had acute renal failure, and through powerful energetic healing work, I was out of hospital in 5 days. I was back event coordinating and promoting in about 5 weeks. Yeah. And so I know miracles and I know energy really, really well. And yet something has been missing from my life. And as the years have gone on, I had this knowing that my body was not being fed. Like there was something missing. And so I also have an amazing ability, no matter what's going on. If I am going to speak or I'm going to teach or I'm going to perform, I can just absolutely pull energy from somewhere, from the field, and no one knows. No one knows I'm sick. No one knows anything is going on. And then after that, I will drop. Yeah. And so, and I know that miracles are possible, and it's been bugging the heck out of me for years that I have these abilities. How come I can't bring that energy in and sustain it? You know, and over the years, I'm watching, you know, I've been watching my body really suffer and get worse. You know, I have stuff with my bones in my hips, and I've got a little miracle to share from yesterday about that. But and I'm nearly 60, and yet I've even been euthanizing with all this stuff going on. Okay, but by the end of last year, I was not doing well physically. I went to India. I did a panchakarma, doing yoga, breath work, and there was some improvement, and yet still this, it's making that echo, Rich. So it was still this not having this energy and this brain fog that I had. Yeah, extremely frustrating. So enter Corey in one of our conversations, and she's such a seeker. And she goes, I found this thing, and, you know, and I'm going, okay, let me try it. Cause I'm really, I'm pretty skeptical. I've had a lot of work and all of that stuff, right? So I try it. And one of my targets energetically is calm. So I put calm on, and I could feel it. But what was more, I watched my behavior and my responses change. Yeah. So that was like, oh my goodness. Now the next thing was the trial finished and I felt the energy go before they'd actually let me know that the trial had finished. I knew it had gone. I said to my partner, I can feel it gone. And so I went, okay. And we talked about it. And Rich was super skeptical too, right? But we decided, let's both go for it and see what happens. And man, in 3 days, I had energy. Like I put it on and nothing too dramatic, right? Second day, I'm sitting there working and I just went, whoa, oh, wow, I've got more energy. Day 3, the cloud is lifting. Yeah. And I'm like, this is really phenomenal. And you'll hear from Richard some other time, but at the same time, he couldn't sleep. So he put sleep on and for 6 nights in a row, runs sleep and sleeps deeply. So, we know this stuff is working. And so from that, from years of not nutritionally receiving what's required, and I know so many of you know this really intimately, there's a lot that requires building in my body. Yeah. And so, but the energy was the first thing. So all of a sudden, right, I've got energy again. I've got it sustained. I'm resting easier. I don't need as much sleep as other people. So I put the sleep app on, but that's not really, that's not my bag. But what I did do, this is a little miracle I would like to share, is like this arthritis and this muscular and whatever it is in my body, it's fairly intense, yeah? And the muscles are incredibly tight. Now, 2 nights ago, I made a mistake. And I know there are no mistakes, right? But I'd been up late and I'm helping people, do their sparks and stuff. Yeah. And I think that I've put pain on and that I've customized pain. And I hadn't. I'd put stress relief on and I'd customized stress relief. So yesterday I get up and I'm feeling fine and stuff. And I'm not even thinking about too much. And then I go out and I'm gardening. And I just get crouched down. Now, it's been at least 5 years since I have been able to crouch. And I crouched. It hurt, but I crouched. Like I could actually get down and crouch. And I stood up and kind of shook everything out and went and did something, came back and I crouched again. And I did it about 4 times. Then I went and picked Rich up, brought him home and I said, I've got to show you this. And I crouched again. And this morning, one of the first things I did after doing some yoga and stuff was crouch. Can I still do this? Now, for 5 years, I have not been able to do that. To be able to do that has just blown open everything. And there's much I can talk to on that, but I think Corey and I will do a call somewhere else sometime because it might be a bit far out. Not everybody will be interested. But for me, this quantum field and dealing with, like if you were on the call with Dr. Cook yesterday, and he talked about there are many possible futures. Now, I do know this intimately already, and yet something was stopping me choosing a future with my body. But there was something about other awarenesses I've got recently, and then listening to Dr. Cook, and there was something really clicked for me about the creation of, well, not even the creation, of actually receiving the future that I know is possible now. And I feel that this thing with my body, and it's still a journey to go, is really linked with that. And this is part of the magic of Limbic. It's part of the magic of working and acknowledging what's going on in the quantum field. Carl, I loved it the other day when you posted Bruce Lipton in the group. If you guys have not gone and seen that clip, he's a neuroscientist, and there are many neuroscientists now into consciousness. And this just opens up even more possibilities for us all when we really embrace our own abilities in the quantum field. what I feel is one of the major gifts. I mean, there are so many with Limbic Arc, but it's actually allowing us to tap into something in the realm of miracles that's really possible right here, right now, and will open us up to more possibilities in the future. And we all know that there's a lot of insanity and craziness in the world and unsurety, isn't there? You know, and this is not going away. We're not going back to anything. It's like the world is in upheaval, and it's okay. It's okay for what we're all experiencing with our bodies. It's the same thing. It's a woo, radical change, yeah? And there is often uncomfortability in radical change. And I feel one of the great gifts that Dr. Cook, the team, are giving is within the Limbic Arc itself is this ability to be in this time of great upheaval and yet be able to, with surety, have calm, because that's what's required, have presence, a different level of connection with our very own bodies. Because I've known for years, and having experienced miracles, and all of you, you know, most of you will have as well, is that the body is a gift, and the body has so much more than we have ever acknowledged. And it's the genius of people like Dr. Cook bringing in this incredible technology that allows us to play in the realms of quantum creation, yeah, in with really fast. You know, I'm so grateful. And I was listening to Tony Taylor in her divine testimonial, and I feel the same. Watch out, Dr. Cook. I want to tackle you with love as well when I get to meet you in person, yeah, because I feel like I have been waiting for this and knowing it's possible. The conversations that Corey and I have had over the years, it only makes me cry acknowledging this, that I've been waiting, yeah. Sorry. But it's not just crying for me. It's like, it's what the world requires. Wow. And it's also what's really brilliant, as Carl, you were talking about this before, is the community and the ethics, because I've never been into MLM ever. My partner had many years ago and made quite a lot of money and said he would never do it again. But there is an ethic here, and there is a kindness and a caring, yeah? And please let us not lose that. Let us be this energy. Let us be this new energy that's required now across this whole planet, and each and every single one of us, as we share with kindness and we don't go into competition and we support each other and we're willing to have conversations, yeah, then we're creating a new reality. And this is what's required. What has been up till now has not worked. It has marginalized so many people. Like, again, as Tony was saying, all of these incredibly successful people in torture inside. Yeah, we need more. We have to have authentic connection with ourselves, with our body. And we can't truly have no competition if we don't have that connection with ourselves. And the allowance for people to be who they are, where they are right now, without having to judge. And look, you know, it's not that I don't judge. I just stop it. You know, I feel myself go there and then move into allowance. Thank you, Ron. It's this is the time. And so I also in this want to acknowledge Daniel and Bob and Carl too. You're like a really driving force in this too. And anybody else that I don't know yet, because I haven't been around that long, you know, that's really building this as a business possibility as well. The way that you're doing that with such kindness and no push. You don't even have to do the business. Like I've seen and had spiels from so many people without MLMs that, no, you don't have to do the business, and it's bullshit. They're just, the whole point is trying to get you, whereas this is the flip. It's about, this is awesome. Now, this is something else that's going on that you can do with this, but this is about you. This is about you getting well. This is about you caring about you, loving you, nurturing you, you know. And so, I mean, what a gift, what a gift. So to you men, and for men to be leading that too in such a way, like, honestly, praise to you, because this reality has not been kind to men either. As much as women have been whatever, then as much men have been too. And so to see men leading this with kindness and caring and generosity of spirit is so heartening, you know, and it thrills me. And I have no hesitation in talking about this with people. I want to share it. Yeah. You know, like it's really easy because there is no subtle energies of push. There are no lies here about the business, about right, you know. And so there's no energy of trying to push you into dominating people and harassing people into it, you know. You know, I love when Tony was talking about like harassing people. You know, I can just see that is not her energy at all. She'll just be going, this stuff's phenomenal. Get on it and try it, for goodness sake. Yeah, which is really different from that. And you all know it. You know, that salesy thing. And thank you. There's lovely things I can see people. It's writing there. I am a bit over the top, Ron. Always, darling. But that's, you know, that's what's required. So this is just contributing to my journey so much, like so much. I'm just so grateful. And you know what's coming, if this is the change in 19 days, and when Dr. Cook was saying it's all at the infancy, then what are we in for? You know, like what else is possible? And I just want to comment on this. Like Rich and I will do a testimonial together at some point, because what it's contributed to our relationship already in that 19 days, I'm stunned, because we're both well. You know, we both have nurtured bodies, and we, you know, he's run calm too. Our communication is so much easier. And look, we're really good mates, and it's actually we're newbies though. It's our 3rd anniversary today. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see in both of us what this is contributing physically and emotionally as well, because everything is connected. You know, that's the whole thing. And so, yeah, I mean, I can talk the leg off a wild horse, really, so I can stop there and let Ron go too. But honestly, thank you all so much. Please, let's keep the energy of kindness and caring and nurturing being the priority. And any of the times where you feel like that competition energy, acknowledge it and let it go, or reach out to someone and say, shit, I've got to be honest, I'm feeling like, you know, I want to beat somebody else, or do the, you know, like just stop hiding is something that I find really useful. The more that we can acknowledge what is going on for us and not judge ourselves, just go, oh, that's interesting. Like, that's what I do if I feel myself judging someone, is, oh, that's interesting. Okay. And then it's easy to let that go and move to a space of gratitude and kindness and love. And we've got this technology to support all that and make it so much easier. So blessings to all of you, and thank you so much.
Delaney, we are kindred spirits. I just love what you had to say, and I suspect you're going to relate to some of the things I'm going to share with you. And I think, you know, even though the subject that we're going to be talking about tonight, you know, we have another website. It's called quantumnomads.net. Now, it's outside the Limbic Arc website, where we accumulate many, many formulas. Now, I want you to know these formulas, even though Dr. Cook started out doing formulas on the Limbic Arc website, he recognizes we've got some really cool stuff on the custom website that we have, quantumnomads.net, and we have a lot of people using those, having tremendous results. And there's a lot, I need to share with you why we have that site and why it's so important, because there is so much information that lives in the world out there. We have tens of thousands of healthcare practitioners in the Zyto environment. Many of those are over here with Limbic, and so we have experience from practitioners and formulators, and I'm one of those, where we create formulas based on first of all clinical observations. Okay, we gather information from resources from around the world. Now, just 9 minutes ago, before I came on this call, I had a call and received an email from two of my old doc friends out there that we've shared research over the years forever. Now, they were excited about 3 new ingredients that they want us to bring on board here, and they emailed them, and I had it just minutes before the call, and I was going through it. These are phenomenal stories, and if we have time, I'll go into some of this, but I want you to understand the process by which we do this. We identify these ingredients. They're backed by tons of science, okay, and what they're historically used for. And so we bring them on board from the nutraceutical, the physical biochemical space, and bring them into our energy information space. And the reason why I say that is because at the end of the day, our bodies are harvesting more than biochemicals. They are harvesting information. When you look at the biochemical pathways of any food or nutraceutical we take into our body and the processes it goes through, at the end of that process, the information that's imprinted in the biochemicals is what our hologram, who we are, is harvesting. And it's a reason why we may have so much more success with this technology, is because we know through a lot of good science that we have a lot of toxins in our body. They block the biochemical pathways, and energy information is not physical. It handshakes, okay? And that's the reason why people get results where they did not get results before with the biochemicals. And so, before I get too carried along with this, I always like to share my language, my disclaimer, because I get involved in some things that the Spirit just leads me in a direction and I have to follow it sometimes. But here's what it is, okay? All information that I share with you is commentary or opinion and is protected under free speech laws. And much of this information is based on my personal experiences as well as my interpretations of current science, and is provided for educational and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended as a substitute for professional advice of any kind, or any products or services that we discuss intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Now that we've covered those bases, we have to, I want to get into a lot of the new stuff that we are bringing on board in this quantumnomads.net site, and even new ones in the last 2 weeks. Phenomenal stuff, and I'm going to, if we have time, share with you. But I was so inspired by what Delaney was sharing, and I feel her so much. What's going on here? I'm going to share with people. We have, when we talk about miracles, okay, miracles, when you understand the physics and the laws behind how our reality works, miracles are only miracles because we don't understand them. But there are laws of physics in place that make those miracles happen. When you look at an event like someone who has a spontaneous remission event, that happens all the time. And you see someone one day, they're at death's door, and the next day they're totally healed. How does that happen? When you understand and when you go through and look at the process by which that person, and you can read these studies, of people who've had these events, and the emotions and the thoughts and the things they went through, and how from one day they came from a a situation where they're ready to die, and the next day their illness or disease is gone. You see, Western medicine doesn't understand this or grasp this at all. But I'm here to tell you, as you know, this is one of the seem to be mysteries. This is something that I've studied for a long time. And I believe as we take a look at miracles, and I look at what Dr. Cook has put together here, and my understanding and training in hypnotherapy, which is conscious-subconscious interaction, biofeedback, and quantum physics, and for 30 years, I've studied biochemistry, and I look at all these components coming together, and we have something that, you know, is beyond amazing. You know, we started this journey using nutraceuticals. Okay, that's kind of, I call the small sandbox. But this thing is moving in a direction in an area that's so much bigger than a nutraceutical application. You know, the reason why we started there is simply because everybody understands historically that nutraceuticals have a positive impact on people if they understand how to put the right nutraceuticals together to have a biochemistry change in the body, okay? And so what we have a lot of research of docs all over the world, particularly in the eastern part of the world, that have identified nutraceuticals, certain nutraceuticals, that have been very effective against all these other illness and diseases. Now, we don't, in Limbic art, go down that path. We don't try to connect illness and disease and the nomenclature tied to that to a solution, a formula, a nutraceutical, an energy information boost. We stay away from that because we don't want to go into that arena. The arena that we are in is harvesting the right information, that energy that we're all made up of, and the whole world and the universe is harvesting the right stuff and bringing our bodies back into balance so we can enjoy wholeness and wellness without attaching to any type of illness or disease. We don't want to say, oh, because I've got this problem over here and it's got a name to that. What do you have that will help me? We don't even go down that path, okay? Because first of all, I can't remember which one of the testimonials on earlier said, you know, you play this game and it makes an idiot out of you. It makes an idiot out of me all the time when you do a voice scan and you think you got to figure it out and it says something totally different. You know, the innate intelligence of our body is so amazing. And we have a tool. I mean, this biofeedback tool that Dr. Cook's put together is really quite amazing. You know, I can tell you some stories, my early experience with Dr. Cook in that setting, they just blew my mind away. You know, and that's the reason why we're together today. But, you know, we have a technology that can identify, communicate with us, we can communicate back, and we can identify specifically what we need. Now, we have been playing this game in the nutraceutical realm, you know, because everybody understands that. And the difference is, when you take a look at a nutraceutical, which is a biochemical, in that physical world, we are harvesting the information, the energy information of that physical world into our energy world. And understanding in quantum physics, where it's the study of the very small, everything in our reality, including ourselves, including, you know, I'm sitting in here in front of a desk, in front of a computer, I'm seeing you guys out there, and you're seeing me, we're on phones, we're on computers, all these things appear to be physical, but when you break those down to what that stuff's made up of, and that's what science does at the quantum level, we discover that the major building blocks of all this physical reality is not physical. It's subatomic particles that have certain characteristics that have imprinted information in it. And that's what our bodies are made to harvest. When we look at miracles, in being able to harvest this energy in the right combination, miracles can happen, okay? Now, someone mentioned about my friend Bruce Lipton, okay, Dr. Bruce Lipton. Now, he tells our story, okay? And I can tell you, one of my favorite parts of this is that when he talks about, and I learned this years ago, about 15, 20 years ago, that in our subconscious, and this is where we're heading. Now, Delaney, you're going to love this part, okay? Because when you see where this is going, it's going to fit right in with who you are, okay? This is going to take you to a whole new level. Now, you know, I have these conversations with Dr. Cook. I have dreams sometimes. I get up the first thing in the morning, I write it down. I called Dr. Cook on the phone and says, "You're not going to believe this." And as a result of some of this stuff, we have imponderables today that we're using, okay, that weren't there before. And I don't think Dr. Cook is initially intended to bring that on board, because we're focusing on nutraceuticals. But now imponderables take us to a whole new level. The ability to identify if something energetically, electromagnetics, is impacting your health in a negative way. We have the ability, first of all, to identify the fact that it is doing that. And then the next thing is to neutralize it. Now, maybe some of you have not experienced that yet, but when you do your info boost and you see some of these electromagnetics and they're like 4G, 5G, broadband, microwave, X-ray, all those things, and you're having a rating of in a 80 to 90%, just understand that is having your biology is having a negative experience with that. When you select those, it's going to neutralize it, so that when the next time you do that, you'll see those selections will be reduced in importance and percentage down the list. And every time you do that, it gets lower and lower, because we have that protection. Now, Delaney, get ready, okay? Here's the thing. Where we're moving with this, okay, I remind Dr. Cook every time we have a meeting. I have a meeting with him next Tuesday at his office. First time we've been physically together since this coronavirus thing happened, okay? You don't want to get me started on that. But nevertheless, okay, here's what's really going on. When you look at what Dr. Bruce Lipton says, he says, okay, if you don't like the way your life is going, it's probably because you have a program playing, sending messages to the quantum realm that's not complementary to who you are. First of all, you don't know it's even playing, and how do we even identify it? And when you look at the sources of how that happened, you'll find places like we can inherit it through human DNA through our parents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents, and it comes to us to resolve. And we have the technology here, guys, soon to resolve these issues, okay? Now understand that our physical, who we are, and the way the quantum world works is that it responds, the quantum world, I've nicknamed the quantum world the big genie in the bottle, okay? When you understand how the quantum world works, it is a gift from God if you know how to use this, okay? And so when you look at the big genie in the bottle, it's there waiting for intelligence, that's us, okay? And the way we emote and how we send communications to the quantum world, the 0 point, the big genie, okay, to deliver that to us. So I've told this before, that if you emote, woe is me, poor me, victimhood, whatever, okay, the quantum world, the big genie in body says, oh, they must like that victimhood reality, let's give them more of the same, okay? Now you have to understand how that happens. Our intelligence is comprised of our conscious mind, which is only 5% of who we are. The subconscious is 95%. That's the reason why we need to zero in on this. It's a big thing. We live in this physical world. In a conscious world, we're only experiencing 5% of it, of the electromagnetic spectrum. It's the other that's mysterious, that mysterious area, the quantum world, that's where that exists. So here's what happens. If you are emoting consciously, whatever it is you're emoting, and you emote something that is lacking, even if even when we do prayers, we do prayers wrong. When you ask for something, the quantum world, the genie in a bottle says, oh, they like that, they like lacking. If you're asking, it means you're lacking. So it gives you more of the same, continues to give you experiences of lacking. See, the thing is, what we've learned, and we've learned this, you study in quantum physics, is that when you emote, and the more you emote in seriousness, in passion, and determination, there's a key to that. And love is a key, emotional love is key. When you emote this way, and you send a message to the quantum world that whatever reality you want, you have to emote and see it in your mind's eye that you're already enjoying that reality. If you are unhealthy, you just see your healthy body doing all the right healthy things, you emote that and give thanks and gratitude to the quantum world, to God of creation who did this, to the genie in a bottle who I call, okay? And it looks at that, oh, this person thinks they're having this wonderful, great life. We better set the energy in motion to make that a reality. Now, how does that happen? When you study quantum physics, you'll find out that intelligence acts upon electrons. Electrons, okay, create fields, and fields are spoke to the quantum world, which is 0 point. And that's how we begin the process of creating a reality. And the keys to all this is the ability for us all to emote the right things as though we're already enjoying. If we want this phenomenal life, we have to emote it as though we're already experiencing that. But guess what, guys? Here's the key thing. That's only 5% of our reality. That's our consciousness. The other part of our intelligence is that 95% of our subconscious that we don't control. Now, that's what we're going to go to next, Delaney. Just wait, you're going to see. Okay, so here's the deal. So, first of all, wouldn't it be nice if we could find out if we have some of that stinking thinking programming and our subconscious sitting there communicating with the quantum world, saying, woe is me, whatever it might be, anything negative, fear, whatever it is, okay? And because we don't even know it's there, but when it sends messages to the quantum world will give that back to us. We don't even know we're being sabotaged. Wouldn't it be nice if we had the ability, first of all, to identify that there's something there in the first place? The next thing is to neutralize it and replace it with a better program. The program we want our reality to be. Now, how I know this is because years ago I was taught that in hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy teaches that exact exchange, but very few people in the world know anything about this, okay? Now, when I start looking at this and experiencing all the things I've been experiencing with the technology, and I've sat down with Dr. Cook, I've had dreams about this. I said, Dr. Cook, you don't know what you have here. And you know, I want you to understand, Dr. Cook created something that's amazing here. He didn't even know the possibilities of this. And when it's pointed out to him, he says, Ron, you're right. We can do this. Okay, we have the capabilities of doing this. For example, okay, so, and the last time we talked with Dr. Cook, I reminded him that he's making progress on this journey, and he said he is, okay? And it has to do with imponderables. Dr. Cook's training is as an Eastern medical doctor, okay, is on if you have an emotional imbalance. Eastern medicine teaches you it's because there is an organ that's attached to a certain emotion. You treat the organ with nutraceuticals, and the emotion clears. That's how how you're taught in Eastern medicine. This is far beyond that, and this is, in fact, Dr. Bruce Lipton picked up on this, and I love what he had to say, because I know this from hypnotherapy, is that there are programs in our subconscious creating a devastating future for us, okay, for many of us. And by the way, it also interacts with our health. If we don't correct these over a period of time, we will have, bad health, poor health. So here's where we're going with this. So I told Dr. Cook, let's create a series of emotional imponderables. We can't do it through the standard Eastern medicine model. We have to do it through imponderables. We do that through electromagnetics now. We can actually identify if there is, and by the way, I want you to know, when we first started this journey, when I first started this journey with Dr. Cook, I had many conversations with him about what can we do to deal with this 5G thing that's coming our way. And he didn't have answers. We didn't have any answers. We discussed this, and all of a sudden, when we went into the imponderable realm with these other things, Dr. Cook said, the light bulb came and said, oh my gosh, we can do this. And I can tell you, when we turn on the electromagnetics, when I personally have used it, when it says, Ron, you are being impacted by 92% of 4G right now, and when I select that, next time I do my boost, it's down to 80, or the next time it's 42%. It's booting it down where it needs to be, okay? That's the way this works. We can do the same thing. When our body does a voice scan and we identify, for example, for example, let's say a person has a circulation problem. There's probably going to be a number of nutraceuticals that will come up that has to do with improving circulation in their historical cousin versions, okay, that we're harvesting that information from. Okay, so we know that it works well. What we want to do, and I've had this conversation with Dr. Cook, he says, Ron, we can do this. I'm working on it. And here's what it is. wouldn't it be nice if we can do an info boost, and this is the voice scan, and we're already harvesting the nutraceutical applications that our body's saying that it needs. Okay, we've all experienced that, and we have great results. But now let's take it to a whole new level. This is probably the biggest. This is bigger than nutraceuticals, because we don't know about that 95% of our intelligent communication, which is our intelligence communicating with the quantum world. 95% of the actions going on in our reality, we don't know what's going on. For the first time, I believe, we're going to have the ability to identify what's going on in the subconscious. Now think of this. We have the ability right now, when you look at Dr. Cook's model, we communicate from the 0 point when the whatever you selected nutraceutically is delivered to the 0 point. Okay, it comes to us through the logistics of our personal or doorway is really subconscious. Goes from the quantum world, subconscious, over the limbic system to the consciousness. The consciousness, that limbic system is the gatekeeper that allows only certain things to come across. The reason why that guy is there is because the processing capability of the subconscious is like 1,000,000 times bigger than the conscious, and it would just totally overwhelm it. We couldn't handle it, okay? So the gatekeeper, the limbic system, the reason why we're called limbic arc is that managed approach by the gatekeeper to identify, knowing that I'm getting stuff coming from the subconscious, coming from the quantum world, it's coming over, I'm going to collect it, it comes into the conscious. When it arrives there, and it arrives faster than the speed of light, that's when it hits your energy system. That's when you get the energy, you feel it, you see it, and you get the results of that. Now, that's only 5% of our experience. Let's go to the 95% now. Let's go and take a look at, let's identify the emotional imbalances that we all have living in the subconscious that we don't know about. We need to find out what that is. Now, the only reason I know that's there because of being trained as hypnotherapist, but it is there and everybody has it. Okay, so if we can, first of all, go in and identify that. Dr. Cook, I said, look, you have, the way this is set up, we can do this. You have the system set up already ready to do this. All we need to do is identify from an impartable standpoint the energy, okay, that's identified in emotions. Now, is that love? What's the opposite of love? Fear. What's the opposite? You know, and then we can go into gratitude. Gratitude's a great one. Okay, love, gratitude. You have fear at the other end. You have hatred. You have jealousy. All these things are a problem. Okay, and so when we look at what we can do with this technology, let's go and identify if in the subconscious, if I have something that's fear-based, if I have something that's guilt, if I have, and it might not be yours. It's most likely it's inherited from, grandparents, great-grandparents, someone before you has it. For some reason, the way the system works, it's being passed down for us to solve the problem. We now have the technology to do that. I've had this conversation with Dr. Cook. He says, I think you're right. Okay, this is amazing. Now, that 95% of the missing everything, okay, now when we identify, because Eastern medicine, when I've looked at all the research and what they do, they've basically said, hey, look, we can solve health problems real easy at the nutraceutical end. We can provide you solutions, get you back to where you're running properly, but it will never stay there if we don't get to the root of why it's happening. And most of the reasons why it's happening is embedded in emotions. And Dr. Bruce Lipton is right on when he says we've got programs that are there. Our subconscious is an extension of our intelligence, communicating with the quantum realm, the big genie, and it's delivering whatever we're emoting subconsciously. We don't even know it's there. Let's identify it. Let's neutralize it, and let's reprogram it with, can you imagine this? If everybody was programmed with love. Now think of this for a minute. Just think of what love can do. Let's say that over a period of time, we have 1 million people in here, and everybody's running the love program. They can't help but not do that. That's probably going to be a part of everything we do. Okay, can you imagine, instead of the fear-mongering what we hear when you turn on the television, that we are emoting love to the big genie, and he's delivering that reality? I call that is how heaven comes to earth. Okay, we are the key. We're the ones that pull heaven to earth because we emote love. And we have the ability with this system. It is a system that works for the average guy in the street. You don't have to be a hypnotherapist. You don't have to be a physicist. You don't have to be a biochemist. You don't have to be any of this. This system works for the average guy in the street, that we can all experience this, and we can emote love and send a message out and bring more people into this. And as we expand this into millions, we're all emoting love. I know, we started out in this little sandbox of nutraceuticals, and here we are in the biggest part of reality, where miracles happen, where prayers come true. It's all from the quantum realm and how we communicate with it. This technology has ability. It's I call it the training wheels. It's the training wheels for us to bring heaven to earth. I truly believe that.